Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Thursday, March 1st at 11:49 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. You're looking at a jackknife tractor trailer or several. A double rig rolling over the edge here. Storm brings blizzard warnings in Sierra, evacuation orders in Southern California. That's due to the risk of mudslides. LA, a major windstorm swept through California on Thursday, bringing heavy snow and strong winds to mountains and steady rain elsewhere, while prompting mandatory evacuations for coastal areas to the south that were devastated by the mudslides in January. As many as 30,000 people were ordered to leave the area of Santa Barbara County before the storm arrived early Friday. Sheriff Bill Brown said forecasters weren't certain how intense the storm would be when it arrives in Southern California. However, modeling indicates there's a risk of dangerous flash flooding, mud, and debris flows. And we know what happened last time, guys. So hopefully these people are out of harm's way. Now let's talk about Montana. Hart, Butte, and Browning still reeling from record snowfall. There is another 18 to 24 inches predicted in regions where they've already broken all-time records for February. 2 days after Governor Steve Bullock declared a state of emergency for parts of the state due to severe winter weather, he got a tour of Browning. Look at the houses here. They're buried. These are snowdrifts almost to the roof. Look at this. This is insane. Grand solar minimum much. As the bus drove down the road, some drifts rose to the tops of homes, and snowbanks were so tall they blocked the view from the bus. This guy was blown away. It's really taxing the Northern Cheyenne reservations in Glacier County, Golden Valley, and Valley County. There's a state of emergency on the Blackfeet, Fort Belknap, North Cheyenne reservations currently. And there's going to be 2 more feet of snow in the forecast. And there is no respite in sight for that area. If we come over to open snow here, we don't want to be the first to know. This is my neck of the woods. Hopefully this will load quickly here. It's well worth the wait. Okay, we're in there. Now this is Wolf Creek on the 24th, and this is a human skiing. And this is why we have the most snow in Colorado. This is just 33 inches of powder, a normal storm. Let's get that guy to come through here again. Not even 3 feet of powder. This is 33 inches. And it is a crazy ride. There he is. I'll let you just soak that in. Little glitch there. Let's go to the weather map. Winter storm warnings and watches in all of these states, all the way through the Sierras, all the way south here to the LA area. Winter storm warnings in pink, watches in this bluish purple. Same thing happening over here for all of New York State, all of northern Pennsylvania. And then we have winter storm warnings for the entire coast for North Carolina up, where we're going to see major flooding, loss of life, and hopefully people will get out of harm's way in these areas. Where Hurricane Sandy hit, same thing's going to happen. Gale warnings out here in eastern Colorado and northwestern New Mexico, northeastern New Mexico. My bad. And we have flood warnings out here through the Gulf states, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, down here in Mobile and Pensacola, and in eastern Tennessee. So as this nor'easter moves up, we're going to see some bombogenesis. This dangerous nor'easter targeting the East Coast with snow, rain, and wind. This is only the first taste. By March 7th, the mid-Atlantic states are going to be buried in snow. The second event coming through here, which is hitting the Sierras right now. The Northeast is bracing for a powerful storm that will kick off the volatile month of March, bringing damaging winds, moderate to major coastal flooding, and rain snowfall, CBS reports. Heavy rain, intermittent snow, and high winds with gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour, as well as flooding in Massachusetts and other places. I'll leave you links to this. We've got a lot to cover. We've got the beast from the east crushing the UK currently. There's people stuck on multiple roadways in the UK currently. Up to 18 hours they were sitting. Now, tomorrow to be the coldest day ever as temperatures plummet in frozen Britain. Britain could freeze to minus 15, some of the lowest daytime temperatures since records began. That's what they're claiming. And that's a heck of a car right there. A raft of weather records are expected to fall over the coming days, with the mercury unlikely to lift much above minus 5 C on Thursday. It would bring the lowest daytime maximum temperatures ever recorded for March, beating the minus 4.6 C set back in 2001. Thermometers are tipped to plunge below minus 15 C overnight, bringing the coldest temperatures for 6 years, putting 2012's minus 15.6 C under threat. If that's not confusing, I don't know what is. Latest weather shocking forecast as hashtag Storm Emma brings record-breaking snow. Hashtag Beast from the East. Snow, ice, and blizzard warning. Status red for Munster and Leinster. Blizzard and serious snow, sub-zero temperatures, onshore winds. Storm Emma is set to dump a meter of snow on Ireland, with Leinster and Munster, not to be confused with the cheese, worst hit during a historic snowstorm that will see records tumble, including Met Etrian has warned. Now, this particular person with a very difficult name and this other person with a difficult name delivered a frighteningly unprecedented prediction of what is on the cards for RTE tonight. We're looking at temperatures of minus 4 degrees, dropping lower over lying snow. It will continue into the weekend with freezing rains and pots, with the northwest of the country escaping. It looks worst here for southern England and southern Scotland, right here where this exclamation point in red is. So we probably won't wait for that to load. Now this record-breaking Siberian plunge to the east, the beast from the east, record-breaking cold has claimed at least 24 lives across Europe. Coming from the watchers here, record-breaking cold temperatures engulfing the entire Europe this week are now blamed for 24 deaths, most of which are in Poland. 9 dead in Poland over the last 4 days, 4 in France, 5 in Lithuania, 3 in Czechia, 2 in Romania, and at least 1 in Italy. And this is going to be underreported, so these are minimum numbers. Now, meteorological spring kicked off just 24 hours ago in the Netherlands with an extreme cold warning. Remember Eric Heiden? So the temperatures will climb to between 0 and minus 3 during the day, but will feel much colder according to the winds. And Wednesday was the coldest February 28th ever measured in the Netherlands. Temperatures in De Bilt rose no higher than minus 4.6, breaking the previous record dating from 1904, which, if you follow the channel, you're well aware is right here between 13 and 14, which happens to be where we're breaking all records right now. TSI is sitting right above 1360.6, which is right here, which is right where this was occurring. So if we base records on total solar irradiance, everything is correlative, which is why we're nailing it right on the head. You know, we're using a unique system of correlation based on science. Let's talk about the Arctic warmer than much of Europe. And it's a worrying sign of climate change. This is total BS. Let's just come see what they say and we'll unravel this. By the weekend, snow and temperatures of minus 5 C had hit Britain. We know that. It's happening right now. But the weather situation looked very different high up on the polar ice cap, where it's actually supposed to be freezing cold. In the northernmost Greenland, it was 6 degrees Celsius above zero on Sunday. That's what they're claiming. And it's consistently been above zero for the last 2 weeks. That's what a fortnight is. Arctic sea ice has also been retreating at record rates. So what I just read there to you folks, is a multiplicity of lies. I'm going to bring you right over to the GFS model. This is the North Pole. See the dot? This is Greenland, and this is the current temperatures right now. This red line is the freeze line. They're saying it's 6 degrees C above freezing in the Arctic. So currently, there is no place in the Arctic that's above freezing. In fact, the majority of it is around minus 35. This is the current time. And if I bring it back, here's the timestamp, March 3rd. Let's just go back a few days and keep your eye on Greenland, which for a fortnight, for 2 weeks, according to this article, has been above freezing. The average temperature on Greenland on the top here is minus 22 on March 1st, and minus 28 on March 1st, minus 31 on February 28th. At no part of Greenland is above freezing at any point here. Here's February 28th at minus 31 in the north, and minus 27 in the south. February 27th, minus 34 in the north, minus 27 in the south. Minus 36, minus 26. Check out March 1st, minus 18 in the south, minus 28 in the north. That article is a complete fabrication of the truth. Here we are on March 1st, where it's minus 22 and minus 14 in Greenland. It's minus 35 in the Arctic Circle. Now let's run the progression of the GFS model through from right now. Here we are now. Currently, it's minus 31 in the north and minus 20 in the south of Greenland. It's minus 35 in the Arctic Circle, right on the North Pole. Move it through to March 5th. And now we're looking at minus 35 at the North Pole, minus 35 in northern Greenland, and minus 30 in southern Greenland. We'll run it through to, let's say, March 8th. And we're finding minus 35 at the North Pole, minus 31 in northern Greenland, minus 28 in northern Greenland. Let's run it through to March 15th or 16th. Oh, it's minus 35 in the North Pole, minus 29 in northern Greenland, and minus 22 in southern Greenland. What you've just seen is the facts based on the GFS model. Let's talk about stratospheric radiation increasing. We report on it almost every night. Here is latitude 37 north, showing a 12% increase over a year and a half up to November of 2017. This is the solar outburst of September, which unfortunately caused John Casey to have a stroke, correlating high K indexes and space weather events to coronary infarctions in the case of stroke. But what it also results in is increased cloud nucleation, stratospheric, atmospheric rivers, and biblical flooding. Let's get some of these babies to load. So once in a generation flooding possible in Boston for the second time this year. Let's go back there. Once in a generation flooding possible in Boston for the second time this year. '79-year-old rainfall record broken in Shreveport this month. February rainfall, record shattered for communities across southeast Oklahoma. 15.6 inches, 17.7, 15 inches, 12.8, 12, 10.2. North Texas just set a new rainfall record, and it wasn't even close. This is Fort Worth. These are all articles today, guys. I'm not cherry picking these from weeks past. These are just today's articles. In sports terms, the last day of February was like a walk-off home run or a Hail Mary touchdown pass for the win. A whopping 4.72 inches of rainfall at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport on Wednesday pushed the region's official rainfall from 6.59 inches to 11.31. The February record was broken only over the past 7 to 10 days or so. And this is an amazing sequence of events, and there's your explanation. Did you feel that earthquake shake south central Kansas? A small earthquake shook south central Kansas just before 3 p.m. on Thursday. The 3.1 earthquake was centered 2.5 miles northwest of Hutchinson, South Hutchinson. Let's talk about Papua New Guinea. People are slowly dying. I saw some drone footage today. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of landslides that have occurred inland in the region where the earthquake struck. Now, nearly 5 days after the 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck Papua New Guinea, the worst hit regions remain largely cut off on Friday, with aid only just starting to arrive in some affected areas. And the government is declaring a state of emergency. The Red Cross has estimated an initial 2,000 people were in urgent need of emergency, and they are underestimating this number. The death toll has climbed to 31 and will rise much higher. I've seen the landslides, and it is epic. We do a quick seismic update here. There is the 3.1 in Hutchinson, Kansas. We have a 2.9 in Stockton related to fracking. 4.2 up here in Hardy, Canada. Heads up. And we have a large uptick in the Indonesia area. There's a quake of note here in South America. 5.4, 9 kilometers west-southwest of Yahuiba, Bolivia, but it is at a depth of 526.3 kilometers, which could be an echo blot, a precursor to a large quake along the Chilean border here. So heads up for the next 24 hours for a large quake in Chile. Weekly volcanic report. New activity unrest was reported for 5 volcanoes between February 21st and the 27th. We have Kadavar in Papua New Guinea, Mayon in the Philippines, Sangay in Ecuador, Semeru in eastern Java, Indonesia, and Sinabung. I'll leave you links to this coming from the Watchers. If we go over to Volcano Discovery, we're going to get today's update. Fuego, Popocatépetl, Reventador, Samancaya, Bagana, and Kadavar. Now, Kadavar is under eruption alert with an orange aviation warning, according to a pilot reported eruption. So Kadavar is erupting according to planes in the area, and they have now put it on orange alert. And this is a heads up. We want to watch this. This could be a major eruption that happens here, and we need to be watching this area. So I'll leave you links to all this. Let's talk about the 12 billion tons of snow and ice in a single day that was built on the Greenland ice cap, which is supposed to be above freezing. But I pretty much showed you it's minus 30 degrees there, and they're full of you-know-what. 12 gigatons of snow and ice were formed in Greenland on February 24th alone. Look at the uptick here. 12 gigatons is the equivalent of 12 cubic kilometers, which would be enough to cover 12,000 square kilometers with 1 meter of ice, or 2,400 square kilometers with half a meter of ice. And this would be enough to cover 275 Manhattans with half a meter of ice. or one Manhattan with 130 meters of ice. That would be an ice age, and that's a heads up. I'll leave you links to that information in case you're still battling with your global warming alarmists. Now, if you check out the sun, we have a new sunspot ending the multiple days of spotless sun. This sunspot is called Region 2700, and it has been experiencing some solar flare activity. Amazingly, on the solar minimum sun, you can see here 2B flares, and there was a larger flare earlier. No, those are the 2 flares, actually. Right there, we're looking at them. Neither is particularly strong, and the solar wind speed is diminishing. The KP is at 2. Oh, one thing we want to make note of here is the aurora forecast, and that is a boom. So we have aurora coming all the way down towards Minnesota here. Take a look. So heads up, Alberta and Canada and these particular regions, you're looking at a 60% chance of aurora in most of northern Canada, north central Canada. But you can see some of the green is extending down here into Montana and the Dakotas. Heads up, North Dakota. So the aurora forecast is pretty nice for tonight. Go out there, and that's a boom. Now, if you haven't left already because of the Haywood Fault or the San Andreas, or the fires that burn houses and don't burn trees, the 100-mile-an-hour winds, Mount Lassen or any of the other volcanoes about to blow, Mono Lake Crater, the geysers. Well, how about this report? It has the worst quality of life in any of the 50 states. And that's because the Golden State is dead last in urban air quality. So you're dying there if you live near a city, which is where most people live. And it's second to last in voter participation. So no one gives a out there. So get out before you blow up or sink into the sea. Let's talk about solutions. segmagnetics.com, breakthrough magnetic waveform technology. This is using energy in the ether. We're talking about electric universe theory, electromagnetism, the Earth's electric field. The poles are flipping. They're magnetic, electromagnetic. Heads up. We're talking about a new era in clean energy generation where it's free because it comes from the universe. If you want to know more about this technology, and you're not inventing it, you probably won't get murdered. So you can come to this website and get some information on a company that is actually creating fossil-free energy solution for the next generation. It's one of the most important undisclosed inventions of the 20th century. The corporate website is SEG Magnetics Inc., or SEGM, the world's leading Searle effect generator research and development center. Guys, if you don't know what the Searle effect is, there are links here to it where you can see Professor John Searle's lifelong endeavor to clear the way for technology to become a clean, economical, renewable solution. This is a perpetual motion machine, quote unquote, but it's not. It's using the electromagnetic field and induction to continue the perpetual motion of this servo, which has all of these copper discs and magnets, to continue rotating in an almost frictionless environment to create energy forever based on the electromagnetic field that we live in. So that's a heads up. Get familiar with this. It's important. Let's talk about Earth's weakening magnetic shield. Here we are, 2018. It's looking around 2030. Right now, when we'll have a magnetic field diminishment at about 5%. Unprecedented territory in the last 11,500 years. We don't know what that means for humanity. But the last time, 11,500 years ago, sea level rose 400 feet and other things were hitting the fan. We happen to be at that same part in the cosmic cycle, the halfway point of the cosmic year, the great year. We're on the flexure point. Now, based on the solar diminishment alone, that's all we're looking at here. This is the solar dynamics, the double dynamo, the heartbeat of the sun. The total solar irradiance, as predicted, moving forward, is not looking good. You can couple that with the solar wind pressure measured by Ulysses, and that is expected to diminish to zero by the same time in 2030 that the magnetic field diminishes almost to 5 or 10% as our excursion reaches maximum and the poles meet somewhere at the equator just east of or west of Indonesia. Total solar irradiance is diminishing at the same time. So the time is now to start preparing for the future. If you want to survive and thrive, you should check out our radio show every Wednesday night. And for the entire month of March, we'll have PhD Anita Bailey, who's the author of Cold Times, will be discussing how to survive and thrive in the coming times as this shift occurs. And we're going to be basing the information on what happened in historic times during similar shifts. So we're going to be using the best historic information to suggest how you can prepare to survive and thrive in the coming cold and the extreme weather that we're about to experience, as well as earth changes, which are based on plasma physics, folks. As the increased cosmic ray flux and the biblical flooding hits Earth, so do earth changes in the form of increased earthquake activity and volcanic activity, which will help the cooling effect accelerate. So start preparing now and be safe.